Successful development of Russia is only possible in the context of transparent and equitable international relations. This is a prerequisite for stability around the globe. I would like to emphasize once again that Russia is open to cooperation, and it intends to act in a responsible and pragmatic fashion. By the way, the sad events of the recent 2 months are among the examples of such pragmatic cooperation between Russia and the European Union, where Russia, when the crisis in the Caucasus was imposed on Russia, Europe and the entire world, we managed to act in a proactive and coordinated manner, realizing our responsibility with regard to our common European future. I would like to appreciate the courageous and responsible actions of Nicolas Sarkozy, the President of France. I'm convinced that people want peace and harmony, they want to cooperate, do business, exchange cultural and educational achievements. They want to meet, they want to live as neighbors, as friends, and I have no doubts that such humanitarian factors will make themselves known. In this context, I believe it is very important to calm down, at least, and at least to give up on confrontational rhetoric, which, due to the laws of this genre, sooner or later starts to live a life of its own. We remember what used to be the case before, and this exchange of niceties took place more than once. And it seemed that everybody came to realize that it's hopeless, but who needs it now and what for? What does it give? What kind of benefits does it yield for in terms of real ways to get out of the crisis? This belongs to the past. Sovietology, for example. Sovietology, like paranoia, is a very dangerous disease. And it is regrettable that, unfortunately, part of the United States administration still suffers from that disease. They need to study the new Russia rather than resuscitate the phantoms of the Soviet Russia. I'm absolutely sure that a new Fulton or a new edition of the Cold War are not threatening us now, no matter how deeply ingrained these concepts are in the minds of individual politicians. Over the past 2 months, at least in my country, we have seen who have helped Russia in a period of crisis, who are our friends and who are not. However, we believe that nothing fatal or irreparable has taken place, and let us be frank with ourselves. In fact, what is happening today, the current situation, is an acute phase of the continuing crisis of the entire Euro-Atlantic political system generated by the unipolar world, and we can only overcome this crisis jointly. Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, based on the above, I would like to share with you my thoughts on the principles of self-organization in a just, fair, and multipolar world that should be based on collective principles and international law. Force, divorced from international law, generates unpredictability and chaos, where everyone starts to wage war on everyone else, which is what happened in Iraq. And any selective application of fundamental norms of international law undermines international legality. But legality cannot be selective. It is either there or it's not. Therefore, I believe that we all need to, all states need to renounce on war as an instrument of policy. This is relevant both for large states and smaller states. And if we recognize that international relations are the alignment of the interests of equal sovereign states, then any search for domination at the expense of others should be recognized as immoral. It is also unacceptable for one state to impose its national law on other states, as well as judicial jurisdiction. In this context, I would like to stress the importance of maintaining the central and coordinating role of the United Nations as the most legitimate international organization. The purposes of strengthening it, of supporting its credibility in terms of international law are especially relevant now as never before. Now a few words about the nature and the first lessons drawn from the economic crisis. As I've already mentioned, it is a result of the so-called economic egoism of a number of countries. I spoke about this at first at the International Economic Forum in St. Petersburg. As we can see, what has taken place is threatening to undermine the sustainability of the development of the entire world. Our experts have cautioned more than once about the growing negative trends in commodity and food markets and in the financial system, and we openly shared our assessment of forthcoming threats, including in the format of the G8, just as recently took place in Japan. What needs to be done? I believe that, firstly, in the new context, we need to streamline and bring into a single system national and international regulatory institutions. Second, we should get rid of the serious imbalance between the volume of the financial instruments that are issued and real returns on investment programs. A competitive race here often leads to the creation of bubbles, and responsibility of and liability of public companies before their shareholders is eroded. It is pretty much destroyed. Thirdly, we need to strengthen the risk management system. The share of risk and liability should be borne from the outset by each market player, and there should not be illusions to the fact that any asset can grow in value indefinitely. This does not happen. This is against economic laws. Fourthly, we need to facilitate maximum possible disclosure of information on companies. We need to make oversight requirements more stringent, and we need to reinforce the liability of rating agencies and audit firms. And fifthly, we need to make available to all the benefits of the removal of barriers in international trade and the freedom of the movement of capitals. Unfortunately, we're coming to realize this need through a crisis. That is, through the fall in living standards and destabilization of business.